Hello children, today we'll discuss about the next kingdom, that is what? Plant kingdom. So if I start my content with the general characteristics, or we say features, some important features of the plant kingdom. So what? They show autotrophic mode of nutrition. They show autotrophic mode of nutrition. So autotrophic mode of nutrition because they have what? Chlorophyll. They have chlorophyll. So this is the main characteristic feature of a plantae, that they possess chlorophyll, and because of that chlorophyll they can perform the photosynthesis, they can synthesize their own food material. So they have chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, chlorophyll C and chlorophyll D. It means green pigment. If I talk about the green pigment, that is chlorophyll, so it doesn't only mean about the green, that different kinds of pigmentations also can be seen. So we can say chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, chlorophyll C and chlorophyll D. These are the pigments present in plantae kingdom. You might have seen cell wall is present, and because of that they come in category of plant. So the cell wall is made up of cellulose. Cell wall is made up of cellulose, and this is what actually the carbohydrate. What is cellulose? A type of carbohydrate. So this is what main features of the kingdom plantae. But if we move to the different kinds of classification, that already we have seen different kinds of classifications given by Aristotle, given by Carolus Linnaeus, given by other scientists. So here we also see some classification. So classification, the first classification goes, you might have heard about Aristotle. Aristotle is known as father of biology and father of zoology, right? So Aristotle had given the classification on the basis of external features. What? External features. I mean to say, according to Aristotle, whatever observation, the external features of living organisms, he explained the morphological structures of the living organisms. So on the basis of external features, whatever classification he introduced, like plantae and animalia, so that kind of classification is called artificial classification. Artificial classification. So artificial classification may be defined as the classification which is done according to the external features of the living organisms. So that concept was given by Aristotle. Next, then if we talk about R.H. Whitaker. R.H. Whitaker, according to him, R.H. Whitaker in 1969, he had given the five kingdom classification that already we have discussed. So R.H. Whitaker had given the concept, he explained and he observed external and internal features. Means on the basis of external and internal characteristics, he classified the living organisms. So that classification is called natural classification. Natural classification. So that questions can be asked, that what is artificial classification, what is natural classification. So if the classification is based only on the external or morphological features, that is called artificial, and if the classification is done on the basis of external as well internal, so that is called natural classification, was stated by R.H. Whitaker. But apart from that, another scientist, that Bentham and Hooker, there were the two scientists who also emphasized and also agreed with this natural classification. Means both the scientists also had given some characteristics, feature on the basis of external and internal background. Clear? One more classification that we have seen, that is what? Phylogenetic classification. What is phylogenetic classification? So here we will see the third one, that is phylogenetic classification. See children, phylogenetic classification, what is the base of this classification? What it is based on evolutionary relationship. It is based on evolutionary relationship. Now try to understand. Evolutionary relationship means there are so many living organisms. If we try to compare the different characteristics of the different living organisms, and we'll try to find out who is the common ancestor of all the living organisms, and whose characteristics is total matching, total coming close as the traits of the common ancestor. So this is what evolutionary relationship. So finally we have got the artificial classification. Natural classification was given by R.H. Whittaker and Bentham and Hooker. That is important. Bentham and Hooker, sometime it can be asked as a question. And then what? Phylogenetic classification. I think this is clear. Now coming to, already we have studied about the taxon. The different levels of the hierarchical classification is called taxon, and plural what we say, taxa. So with that concept, if we see, so different kinds of taxonomy is also defined. The first was numerical taxonomy. Try to find it, what is the meaning of numerical taxonomy. See, numerical taxonomy states that if the traits means the characteristic features of the living organisms, if the traits or characteristic features is assigned with the help of some code, with the help of some codes or some numbers. Generally when we try to see the data inside the computer and we try to code, if we press 1, this information will display on the screen. If we type 2, this information can be displayed. So mean to say here, some features, some characters are assigned in the form of code or numbers, is called numerical taxonomy. Second was, if we see chemotaxonomy. See, the characteristic features is based on what? Chemical. What is? Based on chemical. So if I give the example, for example, if I give the example of algae. So see, on the basis of chemicals, like, see, there may be green algae because of green pigment. There may be brown algae and there may be red algae. So in chemotaxonomy we generally study about algae. I think clear? And the next was cytotaxonomy. See, it's related to the cell structure. Cytotaxonomy. See, cytotaxonomy states about the number of chromosomes. What is the number of chromosomes present in the cell? What is the structure of the chromosomes present in the cell? And what is the entire physiology and functions of that chromosome in that cell is called what? Cytotaxonomy. So we children, we see numerical taxonomy, chemotaxonomy and cytotaxonomy. But now here we'll see about the plant kingdom. What we'll see here? The plant kingdom. See, plant kingdom, it has two main categories. This is very important, that already you have discussed in class 9th standard. First, cryptogamy. What is cryptogamy? And the second is phanerogamy. See, crypto means hidden. What is the meaning of crypto? Hidden. Hidden means the sex organs or the reproductive organs in case of cryptogams are hidden. They are inconspicuous. They are not very clear. They are hidden. But if we see in phanerogams, the sex organs are well developed and more functional. If we compare with cryptogams, sex organs are very clear, not hidden, and more functional. But they are seedless. Whatever plants come in this category of cryptogams, they do not produce seeds. But in phanerogams, seeds are present. Clear? I mean to say, these cryptogams come in the category of lower plants and phanerogams come in the category of higher plants. So further, on the basis of that, this cryptogam further classified into three groups. The first is algae. Algae is also called thallophytes. Then bryophytes or bryophyta. And third is pteridophytes or pteridophyta. The cryptogams or lower botany, we say lower groups of the plants, they are algae, also called thallophyta, thallophytes, bryophytes and pteridophytes. And here in phanerogams, it mainly classified into two groups: gymnosperm and angiosperm. You might know this angiosperm further classified into two classes, monocotyledon and dicotyledon. So this is what cryptogamy, phanerogamy, and here we try to study about the algae. So now we'll study about algae. See children, if we write about algae, so see, most of the algae means they have what? Chlorophyll. They have what? Chlorophyll. Means they show autotrophic mode of nutrition. Autotrophic mode of nutrition. They have cell wall, and the cell wall is made up of mainly cellulose. And if we see the main part, that is mode of reproduction. Mode of reproduction. So mode of reproduction, they show about vegetative mode of reproduction, generally through fragmentation method. Generally they show the fragmentation type of vegetative reproduction. They can also show asexual mode of reproduction. Asexual reproduction. So generally they show through zoospores. Spores are responsible for showing asexual mode of reproduction. Zoospores, and they also show sexual mode of reproduction. Sexual mode of. So in sexual mode of reproduction, some gametes are involved. Some gametes, male and female sex organs are involved. So suppose if gametes are same kind of structure, so that gametes are called isogames. Isogames. If gametes are not same, If dissimilar type of gametes, it's called anisogamous. Anisogamous. And if suppose male gamete is smaller in size but motile. Motile means they have a flagella, and a female gamete is bigger in size but non-motile. This condition is called oogamous. Oogamous. So sexual reproduction can be shown either by isogamous, anisogamous or oogamous. So what these are the general properties that can be seen in case of what? Algae. Now children, this algae further classified into three groups. Algae further classified into three groups. So if we talk about the groups of algae is what? So see, the first group is called generally if we start like Rhodophyceae, Chlorophyceae and Phaeophyceae. So if we start the first one, Chlorophyceae. Chlorophyceae, that includes about green alga. What they are? Green algae. Second, if we talk about Phaeophyceae, PHAEO, Phaeophyceae, they are called brown algae. Phaeophyceae is called brown algae. And the third is Rhodophyceae. Rhodophyceae. So children, they are called red alga. Red algae. I have left some space to write something because we study here the comparative point of view. Now children, Chlorophyceae, they have chlorophyll. They have chlorophyll A. In Chlorophyceae, green alga, they have chlorophyll A. In Phaeophyceae, they also have chlorophyll A. And Rhodophyceae, they have also chlorophyll A. It's easy technique to learn. Chlorophyceae have chlorophyll A. They also have chlorophyll B. It also have chlorophyll C, and it also have chlorophyll D. So see, it is very simple to learn. Three of them have chlorophyll A, chlorophyll A, chlorophyll A, and now then this contains chlorophyll B, chlorophyll C, chlorophyll D. Got it? On the basis of pigmentation we classified. If we talk about the chlorophyll are found generally in water. They may be fresh water, they may be marine. They can be also found in the moist places, damp and marshy areas. They can be found in slippery zones, rocks, right? And what is the main characteristics? The body of chlorophyll, the body of algae is not differentiated, and that is why this is called thallophyta. Thallophytes. Body is not differentiated into root, body is not differentiated into stem, body is not differentiated into leaves. If you try to see the entire plant, you are totally confused. Where is stem, where is leaf, where is root? What we say, the body is not differentiated into root, stem and leaves. They do not possess what vascular bundle means. Xylem and phloem is what totally absent, right? But now children, here in Chlorophyceae, what we see, some extra food is stored in the form of protein. Here I write extra food stored in form of protein and starch. But where they are stored? They are stored in a body called pyrenoids. So in pyrenoids, this stored food is located, and these pyrenoids are present where? In chloroplast. I am talking about this chlorophyceae, that is green alga, right? If we talk about phyophyceae, here we find xanthophyll. What is xanthophyll? Clear? Where the food is stored in the form of mannitol or laminarine. Mannitol or laminarine, here they are formed in form of starch, stored in form of starch in paranoids. Here the extra food is stored in form of mannitol. Clear? This is very important, mannitol. Here you find in red alga, here we find fluoridine starch. Here the extra food is stored in case of rhodophyceae in form of fluoridine starch. It is important, fluoridine starch, and this fluoridine starch is looking like glycogen and amylopectin. It's very important, you must remember, it's looking like glycogen and what else? Amylopectin. Clear? So children, this is what the very important feature I am going to tell you. You can compare with each other. What green alga? You might have seen Ulothrix, Spirogyra, Chara, Pulvox. They are belonging to the chlorophyceae. Here see algae is the example of phyophyceae and rhodophyceae. So here this chlorophyceae and phyophyceae generally found in the surface of water, but this rhodophyceae means red alga is generally found in the deep of the ocean. Deep ocean means where sunlight is very little amount reaching, that place they are generally found. Glaciaria and Geladium is the examples. So from the Geladium and Gracilaria we try to obtain what? Agar, and they are used for making gels, jams and jellies. These agar gels also used in biotechnology. You will see in next coming chapters, class 12 standard. So these are the basic categories where we try to discuss about. See, especially if we talk about the brown alga, so if kinds of structure, if I try to show you these kinds of structures, see, suppose this is what brown alga, this is what frond, F-R-O-N-D, frond, this is what steep, and this is what hold fast. Children, hold fast, it is the base of the algae that try to attach with the substratum. If the water is moving, the current of water is flowing along with, if the algae is moving, so with the help of hold fast try to attach with substratum, maybe rocks, and the strip is the long tubular cylindrical part which try to attach with hold fast with the frond, and frond is the apex part. It is broad and actually it contains chlorophyll, and frond is responsible to perform the photosynthesis. Clear? Now one content is left, that what is economical importance of alga. Children, it's very simple. Algae can be used as a eatable items, that sargassum, Gracilaria, kelp can be used as a eating material. See, algae can be used for fixations of carbon dioxide, because most of the algae do the process of photosynthesis. They try to consume the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and responsible for the evolution of the oxygen gas. They are carbon dioxide fixation. This algae is also responsible to retain, to hold the water molecules. They are hydrocolloids. What? Algene, hydrocolloids, algene and carrageenes. So they are used for transportations of other organisms because they have good capacity to retain the water molecules. We have also seen about spirulina, and we have also seen about the chlorella. This is very important for the NEET point of view. Chlorella and spirulina, both are high reach of protein molecules, and this chlorella is used by the astronauts, space traveler. Astronauts used to take chlorella because high reach of protein, and they used to eat as a traveling part by the astronauts. So this is called space alga. Space alga. This is unicellular. Space alga. So the questions can be asked, which is known as space alga. Chlorella is known as space alga, high rich with proteins. So children, this is all about the plant kingdom. We have talked about algae. Next time in next video we'll discuss about the bryophytes. Thank you so much.